Hey you all, welcome back to my video. Today's video is meant to give a brief overview of the starter clippers that I work with and that you will most likely work with. This video is meant for people who just need to do simple cuts for their kids and don't have time to spend at the barbershop. So we're going to start out first with our wall clippers. Now these are typically called beater clippers because you will more than likely drop them a couple times, but more than likely they will still work and they give a quality haircut. So here we are looking at the wall senior clippers that has a lever. So with these particular clippers, we have the guards in the background that you can see here, and it's going to come with a 1, 1.5, and 1/2. And I'll just say this, the guards that are for a particular clipper set are not necessarily the same guards for another set of clippers. Okay, so this lever that we see on the side is going to determine how much hair comes off even with the guards on. So here we see that there's a slight gap, which means this is not a 0 gap clipper set, so it won't get that completely bald look that you may be looking for. This is where you use the T-Outlier from Andis. So the T-Outlier, you can see here, has a smaller gap. It's almost close to bald. And you notice that it has no lever. So this T-Outlier is what's going to give you the outline of the haircut. These are also typically called beater clippers because you may drop them once or twice, and more than likely they're still going to work. As you become more familiar with cutting and you're able to handle the clippers better, you may move on to a different brand. Now these particular clippers I had to buy in South Africa because of the plugs. So when you're going from 120 volts to 220, there you see the plug, that's an American plug at 120 volts. I did not have a voltage converter, which is what you need if you want to use your American clippers. Okay, I didn't have that, so I had to buy these clippers right here that were equivalent to about $10 US. And so these clippers, you can see, has that plug. So this type of plug worked in South Africa, it worked in Tanzania, and it also will work in Senegal. So basically it will work all over Africa. And if you don't find that it works, you'll just have to get an adapter and it should solve that problem. But make sure you get the right adapter. Okay, so now on to the clipper set. So here you see that this clipper set has a lever, and this clipper set also came with guards. It came with the number 1, which is a 1/8, a number 2, which is a 1/4, a number 3, which is a 3/8, and a number 4, which is a 1/2. And so again, these particular clippers have different guards versus the wall senior clippers, which are going to have their own guards. Now there are such things as universal guard sets, but sometimes they break, they fall apart, so it's better to use the guards that come with the set. Okay, so now here we see a straight edge. So like I was mentioning before, the straight edge is what's going to give you the closest shave out of all the clippers, out of every single clipper set, because this is the old school method. So this is going to give you the baldest shave, closest to the skin. Okay, and you have to be careful if you have curly hair. There's a way you must shave your hair if you have anything other than straight hair. Okay. The other thing with a straight edge is you want to make sure that you're properly prepping the skin, and that's a totally different video, but you want to make sure that you're prepping the skin, sanitizing the skin, and holding the straight edge appropriately. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the foilers. So I've talked to some barbers, and some barbers have never heard of a foiler. So this is a perfect tool that you're going to need if you're traveling and you don't have access to a plug. You can take away that 5 o'clock shadow before your next meeting. Now these are two different brands. One is Babyliss Pro, the other there you can see it's Andis, and they also have single foilers as well. They're a little bit less expensive, but I find that the double foiler will help get rid of the hair faster. Again, the foiler is not going to take you down to bald to the skin. Only the straight edge is going to do that. Still, the foiler is a great way, again, to get rid of that 5 o'clock shadow if you're on the go. Put it in your grooming bag along with some cologne, some Q-tips, other things that you need to help keep you smelling and looking fresh throughout the day. You can also recharge these foilers, but again, they come in really handy if you do not have access to an outlet. Now we're going to move on to finding a new barber, or even continuously going to the same barber. Sometimes people have problems with their skin. I'm going to show you something that I use with my clients. This is sulfur 8. This is an old school method to combat skin problems. So typically after I give a cut, I use sulfur 8. And as the name alludes, it has sulfur in it. Sulfur has been a long known remedy to skin problems as long as you're not allergic to sulfur. So again, this is an old school method and it works. So if you're having problems with your barber or problems with your skin after you get a haircut, ask your barber to use sulfur 8. Just put it on the back of the neck, a little bit on the hairline. Even I use this on my skin clients that come to me for skin services. I incorporate this into the routine depending on what's going on with the skin, and it works. So here you see the active ingredient is sulfur at 2%. So I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and I will see you on the next video, everyone. Peace.